What up, guys? Back again with another UFC Fight Picks video on the UFC Fight Night card, Brunson versus Machida. Let's go ahead and get started here with the Fight Pass Prelims. So I'm a little sick, so just expect some of that in the video, but still good though. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started here. So first fight of the night, we got Marcelo Golm versus Christian Colombo. Golm making his UFC debut from Brazil. And Colombo already fought, I think, 2 times in the UFC. Let's go ahead and check it out. Colombo multi is this guy's background. 37 years old, so obviously getting pretty old now. His last fight, he got beat up by Henrique, who's a good wrestler, good grappler. And then the fight before that, he fought to a draw with Jarges Danho. So yeah, this guy hasn't had a win yet in the UFC. And his opponent is making his UFC debut. Athletic heavyweight, very young, 25 years old, 6'4". Good boxing, good straight punches. Looks good on his feet, has a good jab. Haven't seen much of his grappling, but as you can see, all 5 wins are by first round knockout. This guy's primarily a knockout artist right now. Longest fight, not even 5 minutes. 3 wins in a minute or 2 or less. So yeah, this guy's very young in his career, and he's looked pretty damn good lately. Obviously, been fighting some lower level competition, but his opponent Colombo isn't exactly a high level opponent either. So I expect Golm here to come out and starch Colombo here early, unless Colombo is able to be durable and survive the ass whooping. But I'm pretty sure Golm here will knock him out. I don't know about maybe the first round, could be first or second, but I do think Golm here gets the knockout. And it's a heavyweight fight, so you never know with the heavyweights. And this guy's negative 220, so he is a favorite. But Colombo just seems like low level opponent, and unless he gets some sort of lucky punch, I don't see him winning. So I'm picking Golm, and I think more than likely he wins. Let's say first round knockout. I say he continues the streak. So Golm, first round KO. Next fight, featured fight on the Fight Pass Prelims, we got Diaz Figueiredo versus Jared Brooks. I'm picking Jared Brooks on this one as a quick pick. This guy's a wrestler, well-rounded fighter also. Yeah, his opponent here also likes to wrestle. As you guys can see, both of them have takedowns on their stats and whatnot. Figueiredo here has more, like knockouts and stuff like that, but I don't think he's like super sharp on the feet. And I feel like Brooks here will test this guy's takedown defense and take him down early, and pretty much just out wrestle him and win the fight like that. I don't see a finish happening here in the fight, so I'm going to say Brooks by decision. But if Figueiredo does win, it probably will be by a finish. He is a finisher, as you guys can see by his stats there. So that's one thing to note. If you feel risky and you want to pick him, he is a finisher. So just letting you guys know for DraftKings or whatever, maybe look into it. But I think Brooks here is a safe pick, and I think more likely he wins by decision. All right, now for the next fight. Let me get some water here first. All right, so next fight we got Zaleski dos Santos versus Max Griffin. I feel like Max Griffin's kind of similar to Mike Perry, but lower level version. He got heavy hands and stuff like that, but he lacks takedown defense, and his striking's not as sharp. I feel Zaleski here is going to be the better striker, has good power also. He's not like the best grappler, but he could take you down. So he could threat Max Griffin with the takedowns. But I feel like Zaleski, just being the better striker overall, seems to be pretty durable also. Should be able to just outstrike Griffin on the feet, potentially maybe even hurt him on the feet and get a finish. So I'm picking Zaleski here. I just feel he's like a little bit more of a complete fighter, fought better competition. So the Zaleski dos Santos, let's say 3rd round knockout. Next fight, Diaz versus Jared Gordon. So I'm picking Jared Gordon. He looked pretty good his last fight. This guy's very active on the feet. Could also wrestle. Goes for the takedowns. I really like his volume on the feet. Joaquin Diaz, this guy's primarily pretty much a grappler. Looks kind of like Aldo actually, but he's pretty much a grappler, or let's just say he's a grappling version of Jose Aldo. But yeah, this guy, primarily grappler. Striking's not the best. I feel like Gordon could outpoint him on the feet, and I feel like Gordon has the better wrestling here, so it's going to be hard for Diaz to take him down. But I do think Diaz is the better jiu-jitsu fighter, but I feel like Gordon's, his striking and his wrestling is pretty much going to counter that. So I got Gordon winning this fight. I don't know if I see a finish here, so I'll say Gordon by decision. Alright, next fight, Antonio Carlos Jr. versus Jack Marshman. I think Carlos Jr. is the biggest favorite here on the card. Actually, never mind. That's actually John Lineker that has that title. But he's the second most favorite here. And yeah, I kind of like Marshman, man. He has good boxing, but I feel like he lacks takedown defense, and he got his only loss. Well, actually not his only loss, but actually let me check that real quick. Let me check that shit real quick. Let's just check this, because I know he lost against that jiu-jitsu guy. Actually, yeah. See, his only loss. Wait a minute. Oh no, you know what? I'm thinking about some other guy. Actually, I think that's actually thinking about Jack Hermanson. Anyways, so yeah, this guy's only loss was to Thiago Santos, who's obviously a good striker. But as you guys can see, Magnus Blad took him down, and I feel like Carlos Jr.'s a better version than Magnus, and also he's a big physical guy. And yeah, man, he's gonna take you down, man. Let me check Carlos Jr.'s recent fights. Also on here, offensive jiu-jitsu, heavy hands. Yeah, he's been winning his fights by submission. Last 3 fights. His last loss was to Daniel Kelly. So he's been looking he's been looking pretty good lately. He beat Leonardo Augusto Leleco, Marvin Vettori, who was kind of like an up-and-comer for a bit, Eric Spicely, who was on fire. So yeah, Carlos Jr.'s been looking pretty good, and like I said, I feel like his ground game, his wrestling is gonna pretty much win him the fight. Marshman, I think he lacks takedown defense. He is way better on the feet. He's a lot better with his hands, better boxing, but I think Carlos Jr. will get him down, and he will expose him on the ground. So Carlos Jr., I'm gonna say second round submission, but don't count at Jack Marshman that much though. That's just something I gotta add. Because if you can't keep it on the feet, it could fuck up Carlos Jr. So next fight here, feature fight on FS2 prelims. We got Vicente Luque versus Niko Price. Niko Price undefeated, looking pretty good. Vicente Luque coming off a loss, but he was on a hot win streak there for a minute also. It's a very close fight. I'm picking Vicente Luque though. I think he still got more, left to prove. He lost the last fight against Edwards. Got taken down, but I feel like this guy is still better than Niko Price. Luque has good punching power, excellent striking, good hands, good kicks. Also could take you down himself, also has submission wins. So I also feel he's the better wrestler here in the matchup. Good submissions. I just feel like Luque is more complete than Niko Price. Niko Price, haven't been too impressed with him, but he does have heavy power. But his striking is a little bit too sloppy for me, and I know he's got a. Actually, I don't think he's got a submission in the UFC, but he does have some submissions there on his record. I think he tapped out. Who the fuck was it? Thatch. Yeah, he tapped out Brandon Thatch, but everybody taps that guy out. So yeah, I just feel like everything goes in favor of Vicente Luque. I think a lot of people will be picking Niko Price, but I feel like Luque is the better fighter here, so I'll be picking him. And I think more than likely he gets a second round knockout. Niko's Price defense isn't that good, so yeah, Luque second round KO. Let's see if he gets it done. So that's my pick. Now for the main card, guys, we got John Lineker versus Marlon Vera. So Marlon Vera's been looking pretty good lately. Let's go ahead and just check out his page here real quick. All right, so here we are. So Marlon Vera, there it is right there, so you guys can see. BJJ wrestling. He's on a 3-5 win streak right now. He beat Ning Guang Yo, Brad Pickett, knocked him out in the 3rd round, and then he's coming off a 1st-round submission win against Brian Keller. So he's been looking good, but it's against guys that are either past their prime or, you know, just guys that really aren't that good. So I don't know, you know, how much credibility I could give him. Whereas we know John Lineker is pretty proven. We know Lineker has good striking, good volume, good boxing, good power, good take on the fence also. So I don't feel like Marlon Vera could beat Lineker on the feet, and it's gonna be too hard for him to also take him down. Lineker actually, I think, is on a 2-fight losing streak or just 1-fight losing streak. Let me just check. Yeah, his last fight, TJ Dillashaw. Before that, he beat Dotson in split decision. But yeah, besides that, I lost to Dillashaw, who's a former champ. He's been looking pretty good at 135. So I'm gonna stick with Lineker here. Haven't seen too much from Vera that really makes me wanna, you know, pick him. I mean, he is the better jiu-jitsu guy here, but I feel like Lineker will keep it on the feet and just, you know, just fuck him up against the cage all fucking day. So John Lineker, you know what? I don't know. He can get a knockout, but I think he'll beat him by decision or a 3rd round finish. But he's gonna land a lot of strikes. But I'm just gonna go ahead and say Lineker by decision, because Vera seems like a tough guy. All right, next fight: Thiago Santos versus Jack Hermanson. Very close fight. Both guys looking pretty good lately. Hermanson, though, is the more complete fighter. This guy is now developed into a good wrestler. He has good striking, good boxing, good kicks, but now, and also he has good volume, but now he's developing good wrestling, and he's been winning his last fights by pretty much taking his opponent down and just fucking him up on the ground with some ground and pound. So this guy has heavy ground and pound, good wrestling. He'll take you down and he'll fuck you up. Santos, you know, this guy, I mean, you know, he has good striking, good power, but outside of that, we haven't seen that much else. His take on the fence still seems a little bit questionable at times, and his jiu-jitsu game is non-existent. So we know if Hermanson gets Thiago Santos to the ground, it's going to be bad for Santos. Also, we do also know that Santos' chin is kind of suspect at times. So Hermanson could win this fight either on the feet by hurting Santos on the feet with his striking, or he could just be safe, take him back down to the ground, just like how he's been doing his last couple fights, and just smash him on the ground. So I like Hermanson here, and he is the favorite, very slight favorite. Like I said, it's a close fight. If you like Santos, fucking pick Santos, but I think Hermanson here is just a little bit more complete. Of course, Santos has that nasty striking with good power, but I feel like Hermanson will get it to the ground, and he'll smash him on the ground. So I'll take Hermanson, 2nd round knockout. All right, guys, now for the next fight: Trinaldo versus Jim Miller. So I know Trinaldo lost his last fight to Kevin Lee, but he didn't look that bad in that fight. I remember he caught Kevin Lee on that fight also. He had Kevin Lee hurt. So Trinaldo, you know, still a good fighter even though he's getting old. Miller lost his last 2 fights against Anthony Pettis and Dustin Poirier. 2 good level opponents, but Trinaldo has beaten some really high level competition on that long ass win streak he had. So I like Trinaldo in this fight. I feel like he's for sure the better striker. If he keeps it on the feet, should be able to tear up Miller all day. I feel like Miller will struggle trying to take Trinaldo down to the ground. So I'm going to pick Trinaldo on this fight. And I don't know about a knockout. Miller's tough, so I'm going to say Trinaldo gets a win by decision. Next fight: Pedro Munhoz versus Rob Font. I like Rob Font on this fight, guys. I feel he's the better striker. Munhoz's defense is pretty bad. He's very hittable. He has a good chin, but he's very hittable. Rob Font, his take on the fence on paper doesn't look that bad, but I'm pretty sure it's a lot better than that. Good striking output. What else? Also, Font has a submission against his last opponent, Silva de Andrade. He caught him with a submission. So we know Rob Font's dangerous everywhere here, primarily his striking. Munhoz, you know, decent. You know, he's decent on the feet. You know, decent striking, but not, you know, not the best. But for this guy, pretty much mostly wins his fights is with his jiu-jitsu, with his submission skills, takedowns and stuff like that. So maybe he could win the fight if he's able to get Font down. but it's gonna be too. I think it's gonna be too tough for him to get Font on the ground, and I think Font's just gonna be able to piece him up, use that footwork, use that striking, and just fuck Munhoz up on the feet. And I think Font has a possibility of getting a finish, if not win by decision. I'm gonna say Font wins by third round knockout. All right, guys. Now we're on to the co-main event. So we got Demian Maia versus Colby Covington. So this is another close fight. At first, I was actually thinking about Maia initially, but obviously it didn't look that good in that Woodley fight. He's getting older. Obviously, Woodley is going to be very hard to take down, being very big for that weight class. A lot of people think Covington is, you know, gonna be able to get taken down with Maia, but I feel like Covington is a really good wrestler, just like Woodley. He's a solid wrestler, so it's gonna be hard to get him down. And also, I feel like Covington is the better striker here in this matchup. So the only way Maia wins this fight is pretty much if he's able to get Covington down. And I feel like Covington being that wrestler, it's going to be hard to take him down. Let me check Maia's recent fights and see what other wrestlers he was taking down. Jorge Masvidal is a good defensive wrestler, but he's not really a wrestler, so he doesn't really count. Condon, not a wrestler. Matt Brown, not a wrestler. Nelson, not really a wrestler. Magny, not really. LaFleur was actually a wrestler, but I don't think he's as good as Covington. So, see, I don't feel like Maia has fought a super good wrestler until he fought Woodley. And now he got Covington, another really good wrestler here. So, I think Covington is the real deal. You know, really good wrestling. He's been beating people up on the ground. Pretty much just taking people down, just smashing them on the ground. And I feel like the grappling here is going to have to cancel out. Unless Maia is able to grab this guy's leg and maybe get it locked up or something like that. Pull guard, you know, shit like that. But I feel like Maia's, again, going to struggle in this fight, trying to get Covington on the ground. And I also feel that Maia doesn't use his striking enough to really even set up the takedown. So that's another thing that sucks for Maia. He's just too one-dimensional. And I mean, as we seen in that Woodley fight, really just, you know, showed kind of how to beat this guy. So Covington's seen that. He knows how he's going to know how to beat him. He's going to keep it on the feet. Covington, not a bad striker. He's better striking, better boxing, decent kicks. So I'll take Covington to win this fight. More than likely, he'll win by decision. But you never know. We could see maybe a third round finish if Maia gasses in the fight. But I'm going to say Covington, decision. Alright, guys, now for the main event. Let's go ahead and finish this video up for you guys. Derek Brunson versus Lyoto Machida. So Brunson looked good in his last fight. I think he knocked out a low-level opponent, though. Let me check. Yeah, Daniel Kelly, obviously an old man. Before that, he was on a 2-fight losing streak. And before that, he had a lot of wins in the first round by knockout. He was looking pretty good. He lost against good counter strikers like Anderson Silva and another good striker in Robert Whitaker. So this guy seems to struggle with good strikers. Machida, excellent takedown defense, hard to take down, and an excellent counter striker. This is like the perfect matchup for Machida to get back on track, coming off, you know, that USADA suspension. So Machida has really good not really good wrestling, really good takedown defense. So good defensive wrestling. And then, you know, from that karate background or whatever. But yeah, he has really great, you know, great takedown defense from those hips and stuff like that. But yeah, Machida, way better striker. Still has good power. Better counter striker, like I said. Brunson here is going to be all power. Really good wrestler. Very explosive. Good power in his punches. But when he comes at you aggressively, he gets knocked out. And if he does that against Machida, expect a knockout. He looked patient in his last fight, but I feel like even though if he tries to, you know, try to game plan against Machida like that, I feel like Machida will still find a way to win the fight, avoid the takedowns, keep it on the feet, counter strike Brunson, and just win like that. So I'm picking Machida to win the fight. He is actually the underdog here, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Machida is the underdog, so he's one of my very few underdogs I picked. But I feel like Machida will get it done, and more than likely, you know what? The way Brunson fights, I feel like Machida could get a knockout here. So I'm gonna pick Machida by, I'll say, 4th round knockout. Fuck yeah, I think it's gonna go to the later rounds, and yeah, I think Machida catches him probably like around in those later rounds, championship rounds. So Machida, 4th round knockout, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happened earlier. And of course, Brunson could always catch Machida, but we'll have to see how he looks, right? We'll have to see how he looks. So it's always risky picking people coming off long layoffs, but I feel like Machida can still get it done here. So yeah, guys, that's going to be my pick. Machida, 4th round knockout. So that's it for my picks, guys. Let me know what you guys think about them. My most confident pick would have to be, since Colombo's a bum, it would have to be him pretty much. But actually, most confident pick, Lineker. So he would be first. Lineker first. Carlos Jr. is a little risky, even though he is a huge favorite. But he's also kind of a confident pick. So Lineker, Carlos Jr., and then Gom are my most confident picks on this card. Least confident pick would have to be... Who's my least confident pick? Well, Machida. Because while he is an underdog, he could get caught. Who's another guy? Covington. Maybe he could get caught with a submission. And maybe, just maybe the Zaleski dos Santos gets caught with a big shot. So those are my 3 least confident picks. So there you go, guys. I gave you guys a good detailed 5 picks here for the card. You know, give you guys my most confident picks, my least confident picks. So yeah, I hope you guys have a good day of betting, or you know, just if you guys watch this for the 5 picks, just watch for the 5 picks. Fuck it. For DraftKings or whatever. I might make a video later on. We'll see. Post some comments below. You know, make me want to make a video for you guys. If you guys are interested in that. So, yeah, comment below. But, yeah, hope you guys enjoy the fights. Should be a good night of fights. I think this is actually a pretty good card in Brazil. So, it should be a good night of fights. Can't wait. Sorry again for being sick. But, well, fuck it. You know, I'm sick. So, you know, that's just the way it goes. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy the fights. Subscribe for more videos. I do these UFC fight picks videos every time there's a UFC card. So that's going to be it for me, guys. Stay tuned for more videos. Subscribe, and catch you guys on the next one.